A roller coaster can absolutely blow you away the first time you ride it, but that doesn't automatically make it a great coaster, because being good once is easy. Making you get off, check the queue time and willingly rejoin a 90-minute queue, that's impressive. Re-rideability is a major factor in determining how amazing a roller coaster is, and there are many things that affect it. Take forces for example, which play a really important role in making your experience on a roller coaster enjoyable. Because, I don't know about you, but I'd like to keep my limbs intact. These can be separated into three main categories: vertical, lateral, and longitudinal G-forces. Vertical Gs are your typical positive and negative Gs, which you hear most enthusiasts talking about, and can be found in valleys and airtime hills. Positive G-forces provide the thrill of intense pressure in your seat, while negative Gs offer the sensation of floating out of it. Lateral G-forces, on the other hand, are often felt on sharp turns or during quick changes in direction, pushing riders side to side within their seats. And finally, longitudinal G-forces are experienced during acceleration and deacceleration, such as when a coaster launches or hits a brake run. Each type of force enhances the ride by contributing to a unique overall experience, but too much of one type or too little of another can affect re-rideability. Too tame and it will just feel like one of those kids' roller coasters you can buy off Amazon for a whopping 100 great British pounds. But too intense and you might not enjoy lapping it over and over again. I'm looking at you, Intimidator 3. Pantherian. Sometimes, rides that give you sustained positive Gs can make you grey out or even black out, which is certainly a scary thought if you don't know that that's what's intended to happen, well, most of the time, in coasters. However, this can be stopped 83.593% of the time, I didn't make that up, by staying hydrated. Although, obviously, we cannot be trusted enough to have nice things such as water taps in the Hyperia queue line. Like, what are we guys 3? The layout of a roller coaster also vastly affects its re-rideability. Like, although an 8-lap special on Flying Fish is the most exhilarating experience you could ever get on a roller coaster, ooh, look at those epic helixes! I think we can agree that the elements need to be a tad more exciting. I think Hyperia is quite a nice example of a coaster with a very re-rideable layout, because even though it is on the shorter side, the elements it has to offer are all absolutely amazing, and don't really get boring after a couple of rides. However, sometimes a good layout can negatively affect a coaster's re-rideability, as if it gives you no time to breathe and absolutely whips you through the layout while rapidly switching between pops of negative Gs and large positive Gs, you might start to feel exhausted quite quickly. But to be fair, enthusiasts do seem to develop some sort of immunity to intense roller coasters if they ride them often enough, so I guess that's why these layouts are often really highly praised by them. When I first glowed Colossus, the airtime hill was quite a surprise for me, as I just jumped from Mandromedium as my scariest roller coaster. But these days, it's much less of a foreign feeling for me because of the vast number of times I've ridden it. But hang on, surely it's just the forces that affect re-rideability. There couldn't possibly be anything else.
So guys, I'm definitely the most re-rideable coaster in the world. Everything about me is just, perfect for you to lap all day.
I think you're forgetting about something.
Well, my forces are pretty comfortable to deal with, while still being exciting, and my layout has an exciting set of elements, even if there are only about 3, which makes you want to get back on them to experience them again and again. What more could you ask for?
Maybe a little bit of theming.
Come on, it's not that bad. I mean, I must have more than Flying Fish.
Don't try to turn this on me. I am the best coaster at the park, obviously. A much superior mat coaster to you as well. I don't see you with a stylish train design like me.
Yeah, literally every other coaster in the park has more theming than you, Hyperia.
Okay, but you can, shush, because you are the least re-rideable coaster in the park with your roughness, and just because I don't have theming as such, I at least have my own original theme and story, and quite a reasonable one at that.
Yep, I'll agree with that one. If only Thorpe Park had the budgeting to execute it properly. Though, we can only wish. We can only dream. We can only demonstrate what it'd be like in Planet Coaster, which, oh my gosh, it's almost like I've already made a video on that.
Right, do I have permission to kidnap this guy and torture him with endless launches?
No, please, your launches are too intense. I'm not ready. Let me go. No! theming does play a really important role in the re-rideability of a roller coaster. For one, you might have to wait in a queue to get back on, which is a much better experience if you're immersed in a different world. But also, theming can provide some really fun benefits on ride, like on the Swan. Trust me, without those near misses, this coaster would be far less fun, and just generally give less consecutive rides before it starts to get boring, as you have less to focus on while riding. And while some coasters have impeccable feeling like the Smiler, its soundtrack is not fun to listen to for hours on end, which would definitely put me off lapping it, as you can hear it pretty much everywhere because of how it was designed. However, on coasters like Hyperia, the soundtrack is much better, and also much longer, which lets you listen to it for more time without it getting old, which is partly why I absolutely love it so much. But something I don't love is lapping tidal waves. Because, well, I'm not ready to spend the rest of my day feeling like I've just been pushed into the River Thames fully clothed. And that goes for roller coasters as well, and the effects they might use. Although they are great for the atmosphere of the coaster in general, if they affect you in any way, they might affect re-rideability. And those effects can be anything from splashdowns getting you, well, hopefully a tad bit wet, to smoke effects making you regret coming within a kilometre of that stuff after breathing it in for large periods of time. Don't get me wrong though, I think special effects like splashdowns and smoke really add to a ride, so don't park, maybe fix Hyperia's. And maybe I'm just a bit weird, but after smelling the smoke in Hyperia Station so much, I quite like it, and randomly catch whiffs of something that smells like it quite often. Anyway, I asked some of you guys what you thought affected a roller coaster's re-rideability, and according to you guys, intensity is the most important factor. But there was also some fun mixed into that, more intensity, the restraint type, and a bit of everything. And talking about everything, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, or at least realised that there were a few jokes snuck into the script. If you did, consider checking out some of my other videos, or maybe even subscribe, because there is plenty more coaster nonsense on the way. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Until next time, catch you later.